Welcome everyone, AdamTheWoo here. Happy Sunday. It's my second channel, daily vlog channel. It's the Daily Woo, coming to you from the Orange Circle near the fountain that is back there, festooning itself with water. A lot of people have been asking me what the progression of the transpiring events that led me to be able to go back to Walt Disney World property. I spent last week, I got back day before yesterday, and I spent 5 days, Monday through Friday, in Orlando, going to Epcot, going to Magic Kingdom, going to Hollywood Studios / MGM, which is what I like to call it, and as well as Animal Kingdom. And a lot of people were wondering, how were you able to go back there? And a lot of people have been following the progression of what happened back in January of 2013. January 8th, 2013, I released a vlog on my channel, the TDW channel, where I actually announced the fact that I had been banned, trespassed from Walt Disney World in Florida. That actual event actually happened the day before in the afternoon, but because I had already uploaded my daily vlog, a vlog that I actually do every single day, and I have not missed a day since then, in almost, well, over 3 years, way past 1,000 days I've been doing this Daily Woo vlog. Since I had already uploaded that vlog, I did not announce the news that I was actually trespassed from Walt Disney World until that next morning, which that vlog number was the Daily Woo 192. So just look up the Daily Woo 192. And I tell you that because that was the only time, that was the only instance where I myself brought up the subject matter of what actually happened. And the reason I did that is because I wanted people to know why I was not going to be filming any more videos at Walt Disney World, why I was not going to Walt Disney World. I knew, because that was such a, pretty much a very heartbreaking blow to me personally, and a lot of people would be asking why I was not allowed there, why I was not going there. I needed to tell people what actually happened. That was the whole point of me doing that vlog, and everything since then was all speculation and what people conjured up in their own mind. Or, you know, when you tell somebody, a friend, something, and then that friend tells somebody something else and something else, once it goes down the line of 40 people, the story gets kind of misconstrued and all that. So I wanted to tell people what actually happened on that vlog, the Daily Woo 192, and it's still up on there. You can actually go back and watch it. The reason that the Walt Disney World Corporation actually decided to trespass me, to give me a banned for life punishment, if you will, was because I was very excited about things backstage. I was filming things backstage. I really did not realize what was going to happen. I didn't realize how the internet worked at that time. I didn't realize that if I put something on YouTube, I thought maybe like a few friends or some family members would see it. I did not realize that it was going to blossom into what it has become, this whole AdamTheWoo YouTube thing that exists. Those videos, if you watch those videos, you can go back and watch. I really do not have that many subscribers. Those videos are still actually up on the internet too, which you can actually go watch. But I wanted to explain to you guys how me being allowed back into Walt Disney World actually happened. It kind of actually was a progression. So basically almost 3 years ago, so on January 8th, actually January 7th, the vlog was on the 8th, January 7th, 2013, I went to MGM / Hollywood Studios. I filmed the vlog. I went out to my van. I uploaded the vlog, which was from New York Avenue, Streets of America. I filmed that little vlog, went out, uploaded it, and then I thought to myself, I should probably just leave, but since I was already in the parking lot, I decided I'm going to go back to Walt Disney World, to go back from the parking lot to MGM / Hollywood Studios and just enjoy. It was a slow day. It was not very busy. So as I walked back in, the security was there, the police were there. They had been following my social media, Facebook, and as I walked in, the security guard who had been watching my vlogs, who had been watching my YouTube channel, who had basically been, I guess, been hired to actually, you know, see where I was because they wanted to talk to me and enforce this trespass warning, or this trespass banning, if you will. So as I walked in, he said, "Hello, Adam," and I said, "Hello." And as I went to the gate, I realized that this was probably actually going to happen. And I knew that was going to happen, which was part of the reason I posted on Facebook where I was going to be, because I did not want to hide from anyone. I knew what I had done filming some backstage videos. I knew what I had put out there into the world, and I knew that people were starting to recognize me in the park. Cast members, the security guards would know who I was, so I decided to just put myself out there and tell everyone where I was going to be that day. So of course that culminated into me being asked to go into the office. I ended up meeting and seeing a lot of the higher ups in the security platform of Walt Disney World Security. And they were very cordial, they were very nice. They actually gave me food, they actually gave me a soda. And they said, you really cannot be doing what you are doing. This is not something we really want out there into the world. We do not want other people doing what you're doing, which I totally understand. So I ended up getting a trespass warning piece of paper. I had to give my thumbprint, etc., 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 etc. So as time went on, people kept saying, you need to be back there, you need to be back there. And another very interesting thing was I discovered, this is before anyone was really watching my videos, so I started to gain a little bit of a following in the Disney community. And at first the Disney community, like the people who were really into Walt Disney World, really started to dislike me a lot. I really had a hard time when people would send me things on Twitter or send me emails or text me, friends of mine, and say, look what these people are saying about you over on these message boards. There's all these message boards. It's insane. I had to stop reading message boards because things that people were saying were not true. There was speculation, a lot of lies, a lot of them really hurt my feelings. It really kind of was like getting kicked in the stomach not being able to be allowed to go back to Walt Disney World. But more than that was the fact that what people were saying that was not true, making up things, hearsay, of what the fact was just the fact that I filmed a couple backstage videos, River Country, up into Journey Imagination Pavilion and things like that. So there were a few things that I had snuck back into and shown, but then it whirlwinded into this whole hatred fest of people who really did not really understand the full news, because when the news story broke, it ended up airing on the Orlando news stations. It ended up trending on the internet. I was trending on the internet for one day. Finally, I was trending on the internet, but not for a subject matter that I wanted to be trending. And I discovered right then that people only read the title, "Man Banned for Life from Disney World," and immediately people think, this man must be bad, this man must be evil, this man must be up to no good, and his whole purpose in life is to inflict people with evilness. That's what people think when they read something like that. But luckily, over time, people started watching my videos, started to realize my personality, they started to realize my motivation in life, and a lot of those people have come over from that side of hating me to liking me. In fact, some of you guys that actually might be watching this maybe discovered me because of that news, really did not understand the principles of what was actually happening there. And maybe I have won you over. Maybe you understand basically what I am all about now. That was a long time ago. Those videos were over 3 years ago, about 3 years ago. So people have been asking, now that I am back at Walt Disney World, how did you get this trespass, this banned for life, mystique that is around you, this paperwork, this legal mumbo jumbo, which is the technical term. I'm not a lawyer, but that is a technical term. Lifted. How are you allowed back at Walt Disney World? So I'm here to clear up the misconceptions of what happened. Now, the day I actually was pulled into the office there at MGM/Hollywood Studios, and so I guess there were some executives there, some higher up security guards, as well as a security guard that originally saw me, and the police officer that were waiting there because I posted on Facebook where I was going to be. People were coming in and out of the office to make sure it was actually me, to verify it was me. I handed them my ID, I filled out the paperwork, the police officer filled out the paperwork, gave them my thumbprint, and then I talked to one of the higher up security guards and I asked him, what is this for? And they said, it's because you broke some rules and you crossed some lines, and we do not allow that here. Understandably, I understand why that is not allowed now. And after all that, then I asked, well, how long is this going to be enforced for? How long is this going to be bestowed upon me for? Is there a chance I can ever come back? And they said, no, you are, in their words, banned for life. This is a lifetime ban. Now, in technicality, people use the word banned, but it's kind of like a made-up word. There is no such thing as banned for life. You can be trespassed for life. You can be trespassed and not allowed back in until they say you can come back in. So as time went on, over the first year, it was about 8 months into that first year of me not being allowed at Walt Disney World, people started to say, you should appeal this ban. And I was told, I do not know if this is true, I was told by a few people that once a year, Florida law, if you have a trespass in Florida, you are allowed to appeal that trespass one time every year for as long as you want. So I thought, okay, it's been almost a year. It's been 10, 11 months. January will be 1 year. January 2014 would be the 1 year anniversary of me not being allowed at Walt Disney World. I had actually proven to myself I was not going back. I had abided by the rules. I had not been back to the park. And at that point, I had actually driven out cross country. I didn't fly at that time. I actually drove from Orlando out to Anaheim, which is actually where I live now, coincidentally. And I had been to Disneyland a few times, 5 or 6 times, by that first point of the 1 year anniversary of me not being allowed back at Orlando properties. And I'd also been to Marceline, Missouri, which is where Walt grew up. I'd also been to Kansas City to Laugh-O-Gram Studios, which was the first incarnation of Walt's studio. So a lot of Walt history had been done over those years. So I thought, I'll give it a shot. I will email the head of security at Walt Disney World and just say, because at that point I realized I cannot just go up and knock on Orlando Walt Disney Company's door, because I would be on property. And from what I've heard, that if you have a trespass against you and you go on property where you are not allowed, that you can actually get jail time, sometimes up to 30 days in jail. And I really did not want to go to jail just trying to go appeal a ban. So I found the email of the security director at that time, and I emailed him. This was right before Christmas, and I pleaded my case, and I said, look, I have not been back on property. I've been to Disneyland, and I've been good. I have not been going backstage anymore. I understand what I did and why it was wrong and why I should not be putting that stuff out into the universe. And my excitement in the past had gotten the best of me. My curiosity had gotten the best of me. And I explained the whole situation. And I said, I'd really like to come back there and prove myself that I'm going to abide by the rules, stay above the belt from then on. And I had, in my mind, I was kind of like flipping a coin in my mind. This could go 50-50. This could go the way where it might happen, it might not happen. Part of me thought it would happen. That appeal was actually rejected. I was actually told, no, we are going to keep enforcing the trespass. You are not going to be allowed back. So that made me very sad. And I thought, well, if they're not going to let me in back after a year, it's probably never going to happen. I pretty much need to move on with my life. What I did, the mistakes that I have made have actually going to haunt me forever, and I'm going to be punished forever. So I started to accept that. As time went on, months and months went by, it became almost time for the second anniversary of what happened, which would have been 2015, January 2015, which would have been 7 or 8 months ago. Around that time, I actually drove out here to California, and I actually started to contemplate moving here. I bought an annual pass to Disneyland, which is very interesting because I was allowed to get a Disneyland pass, purchase a Disneyland annual pass, which I have had for a year and a half now. So I renewed it in January. So I've had it, this January I'll have an annual pass to Disneyland for 2 years. So a year and a half I had had a pass. At that time I had had an annual pass for almost a year. The first time I had the appeal, I had not had an annual pass. I did not get the annual pass until right after that. So I ended up moving out here at the beginning of the year around the same time as I was eligible for my second appeal. I became a huge fan of Disneyland. I became inundated with the history of Walt Disney and Disneyland here in Anaheim. And I thought, well, a year ago, I tried appealing this trespass warning. Look at this whole car. so many old cool cars in Southern California driving around the circle. So when it was time for my second appeal, I kind of just said, you know what, I'm not even going to appeal it. I just said, I'm just going to shut all that out, forget that it's ever going to happen, and just immerse myself with Disneyland history, even though Walt Disney World was my childhood and where I was brought up and all my memories were out there. I was going to make new memories here in Anaheim at Disneyland. So I actually did not appeal it the second time. So I pretty much had written off the fact that I was ever going to get back to Walt Disney World. A couple months later went by, and I had another legal issue. I needed to get some legal advice. Nothing super major, but I needed a little bit of legal advice that I needed. I am not a lawyer, and I've realized when it comes to legalities that people that think they know the law really do not know the law. So if you have something legal that pops into your mind or pops into your life, you should probably get a lawyer. So I asked around. I contacted a friend who contacted another friend, and this friend said, hey, I know a very good lawyer in Florida who can handle this legal problem, not the Walt Disney thing. Another thing that was not too dramatic, but I needed some advice in the legal realm. So this person told a friend, told another friend. I emailed this lawyer, whose name is Joshua L. Fenton, down in South Florida, and he handled this legal question that I had. And after that legal question was actually completed, he actually said, I like you watching your videos. I know who you are. I know the situation that you are in. And I would really like to help you appeal this trespass warning that you have to Walt Disney World. My first reaction is, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's never going to happen. There's no sense in even trying. There's no sense in even trying. So he convinced me to attempt this again. He said, let me just write up a letter to Walt Disney Corporation in Florida. Let me just write up a letter, say the things that you have said in your past appeal, and let me just approach them with a different angle. So that's basically what happened. This lawyer in South Florida, I think he's actually down in Boca Raton, which is down near Miami area. Joshua L. Fenton, I believe, is actually his full name. Josh, if you're watching this, I apologize if I did not get your middle initial correct. So he helped me out dramatically. He really helped me out a lot, and I really have to thank him and the circle of friends around him that pushed me in his direction. Because I do not know if I would have ever appealed it again. It was a very heartbreaking situation. It really knocked the wind out of me to not be allowed back to Walt Disney World. If you're just doing some things wrong, I know I was in the wrong for what I did. I know that filming backstage is not allowed, and I encourage everyone out there to never do that and to stay completely above the belt when it comes to anything, any theme park, especially Disney, anything. Just when there are rules set in place, abide by the rules. I was not allowed there for almost 3 years, for 2 years and about 7 or 8 months, and I honestly never thought I was going to be allowed back there. And now that I say that, Joshua L. Fenton, he helped me out a lot. I don't know if he has a website, or you can probably just Google his name. If anyone, or Josh, if you're watching this, if you want to leave a comment in there, if you want to get a hold of Josh for any sort of legal stuff like that, I definitely owe him a lot of thanks as well, and I owe everyone else a lot of thanks, because when this whole situation actually happened, a lot of people came to my defense. A lot of people started doing these petitions. There were petitions floating around all over the internet, and I really, in my mind, I did not want to start up a campaign to get me back in. I never reposted any of these petitions. I never commented on them. I never favorited them on social media. I never liked them. I never reposted them. And the reason I did that is because I did not want anyone to think that I was trying to be the right guy. I did not want to be the right guy. I didn't want people to think that I was correct and that what the punishment that was put upon me was unjust or unfair. I knew in my mind that when you do something wrong, you should actually be punished. You should actually get a slap on the wrist or a whatever other punishment that you're going to get. So that is why I never really honestly pushed the whole thing of trying to get back in publicly. I never did another vlog saying, oh, woe is me, it's been a year, I can't get back in. I never posted anything on message boards. I never said anything negative about the situation. So I just kept the faith, pushed forward, stayed the course. And ladies and gentlemen, it actually happened. I am actually back. I'm actually allowed back at Walt Disney World. That's amazing. And a couple other misconceptions people now are circulating saying, oh, this is all fake. You're not allowed back. This is all fake. You are not allowed back. And to those people that are watching this that are saying this is all a publicity stunt, Adam is not allowed back at Walt Disney World. I just spent 4 or 5 days at Walt Disney World with my good friend Justin Scard, who was Snapchatting 1,000 Snapchats. We were posting on Twitter. We were posting on Instagram. I put up a main channel video. I posted where I was every 5 seconds. I did meetups with people, like in their periscopes, in their vlogs, on Twitter, in the park, out of the park, everywhere. It's safe to say this is not a publicity stunt. I am actually back at Walt Disney World properties, even though right now I'm back in Anaheim, California. But I am allowed. A lot of people also are now saying, circulating, they're saying, oh, it was not a lifetime ban, it was only a 3-year ban. So if you do something wrong, you will only ban for 3 years. Well, it actually wasn't 3 years. It was actually 2 years and 7 or 8 months. And it is a lifetime thing unless you appeal it and unless they reverse it. And I actually received the paperwork from the lawyer, from the director of security at Walt Disney World. I have his signature, or her signature, the director of Walt Disney World Security, on a piece of paper, and I printed that out and I had that with me in my camera bag this last week when I went down to Florida, just in case something happened. And when I was there, I actually talked to a few security guards. I talked to a lot of cast members. A lot of cast members recognized me, and everyone said, it's good to have you back. And that means the world to me, not only to be legally allowed to go back somewhere, but to actually be, by cast members and employees and even people wandering around the park, to be actually embraced and allowed back, to be welcomed back, is more important than any legal facet that actually happened. And that means the world to me. I love you guys. I love Anaheim, Disneyland. I love Walt Disney World in Florida, and I love the cast members. I love security people out there. I love security people here, Disneyland, Florida, everyone. Josh Fenton, thank you very much. And the whole support circle of goodness that has been going on for almost 3 years. I love you guys. Bye.